The boarding call crackled over the intercom like a death sentence. Flight 247 to London Heathrow, now departing from Gate 14. Alex Harper's fingers trembled as he gripped the crumpled ticket, the ink smudged from his sweat-slicked palms, while his mother's voice echoed in his skull. "This is for your own good, son. Fix yourself over there." But the real gut punch came when his father, without a backward glance, tossed his duffel bag at his feet and muttered, "Don't come back until you're normal," before vanishing into the sea of strangers at DFW International. In that instant, as the automatic doors hissed shut behind them, Alex realized he wasn't just leaving Texas. He was being erased from the only home he'd ever known. He sank onto a cold metal bench, the airport's fluorescent buzz mocking his unraveling world. At 18, fresh out of high school in the sprawling suburbs of Plano, Alex had always pictured his summer as a blur of barbecues and bonfires, maybe sneaking off to Austin with his secret crush, Jake from the debate team. But 2 nights ago, over pot roast and his mom's forced smile, he'd cracked open like a fault line. "I'm gay, Mom, Dad, and I can't pretend anymore." The silence that followed wasn't shock. It was judgment, swift and surgical. By dawn, they'd booked the ticket, one way, to some distant cousin in England they'd never mentioned, whispering about tough love and saving the family name. Now, staring at the gate agent's polite wave, Alex felt the weight of it all. The Bible verses hurled like grenades, the locked bedroom door, the way his little sister had sobbed into her pillow, forbidden from saying goodbye. A shadow fell across his lap, snapping him back. "Hey, you okay? Man, you look like you just lost a bet with fate." The voice was warm, laced with that easy Midwestern drawl that could disarm a rattlesnake. Alex looked up into hazel eyes framed by tousled chestnut hair and a jawline that could have been chiseled from marble, if marble smiled like it knew all your secrets. The guy, maybe 20, wore a faded Yankees cap backward over a threadbare flannel, a backpack slung over one shoulder like he owned the chaos of the terminal. "I'm Eli," he said, extending a hand calloused from, "What, guitar strings? Construction? Short for Elijah. But don't hold that against me. Saw you from across the lounge. Kinda hard to miss a guy radiating end-of-the-world vibes." Alex hesitated, then shook it, the contact sending an unwelcome spark up his arm. "Alex. And yeah. He forced a laugh that died in his throat, glancing at the ticket like it was a venomous snake. Eli followed his gaze, eyebrows knitting. "London. Huh? Fancy. Escaping the heat or chasing dreams?" The question hung there, innocent but probing, and Alex felt the dam crack. Words tumbled out, the confession, the rejection, the exile disguised as opportunity. Eli listened without flinching, nodding like he'd heard this symphony before, his own queer anthem playing on a loop in some forgotten dive bar. By the time the final boarding call echoed, Alex's resolve had frayed to threads. "I can't go," he whispered, more to himself than Eli. "Not like this. Not to some stranger's attic in Kensington, pretending to be straight for God knows how long." Eli's grin was slow, conspiratorial. "Then don't. DFW's got more stories than a Steinbeck novel. Crash at my layover spot. I've got a red-eye to nowhere special. We can plot your jailbreak over bad coffee." It was reckless, born of desperation, but in that moment, with the plane's engines whining like a siren's call to oblivion, Alex nodded. He tore the ticket in half, the rip echoing louder than his heartbeat, and followed Eli into the throng, the fragments fluttering to the floor like confetti from a funeral. They slipped into a dimly lit airport bar, the kind where businessmen nursed regrets and flight delays bred unlikely alliances. Eli ordered 2 whiskeys. "On me, for the drama." and they claimed a corner booth scarred by 1,000 carved initials. As the amber liquid burned down Alex's throat, he spilled more. The stolen glances in gym class, the hidden grinder app deleted a dozen times, the way his dad's belt had whistled through the air not for punishment, but for the sin of existing. Eli absorbed it all, his own story unfolding in counterpoint. A kid from rural Ohio, outed by a leaked photo at 16. Parents who chose church over son until he chose the road over them. Fell into photography, Eli said, pulling out his phone to show grainy shots of neon-lit streets in Chicago, fog-shrouded bridges in Seattle. Chasing light, you know, the kind that doesn't judge. Hours blurred into a haze of shared silences and stolen laughs, the bar emptying around them like sand through an hourglass. When Eli's flight boarded, some freelance gig in Denver, he scribbled his number on a napkin. Text me when you figure out Act 2. And hey, world's not ending. It's just remixing the soundtrack. Alex watched him go, the napkin clutched like a lifeline, the airport suddenly vast and echoing with possibility. He didn't call his parents. Their voicemails piled up like indictments. Turn around, boy. This ain't over. Instead, he bought a bus ticket west, toward the sun-baked promise of California, where the air smelled of salt and second chances. The Greyhound rattled across I-20 like a tin can on rails, Texas flatlands giving way to the jagged teeth of New Mexico's deserts. Alex dozed fitfully, dreams tangled with Eli's hazel eyes and his father's thunderous disapproval. Waking to a crimson sunset bleeding over mesas, he felt the first stir of something dangerous, hope, fragile as a soap bubble. In Albuquerque, he disembarked for a smoke, the dry wind whipping his hoodie like a flag of surrender. That's when the text buzzed. Made it to the Rockies. Your turn, what's the verdict? Runaway? Alex's thumbs hovered, then typed, headed to LA. Chasing my own light. Eli's reply was instant. Dangerous game. But hell, if you're buying, I'll detour. By Tucson. The flirtation had escalated from tentative pings to marathon voice notes. Eli's voice low and teasing over crackly connections, recounting dive bar escapades while Alex confessed his terror of the unknown. You're braver than you think, Eli said one night, as Alex hunkered in a motel off the interstate, the neon vacancy sign flickering like Morse code. Coming out's the spark. Surviving it? That's the wildfire. Alex pressed the phone to his ear, imagining Eli's flannel against his skin, the betrayal of his own body responding in ways he'd only dared in shadows. It was innocent, this pull conversations laced with vulnerability. Not lust, but it hummed with the electricity of what could be. Los Angeles hit like a fever dream. Palm trees clawing at smog-choked skies, billboards screaming reinvention. Alex crashed on a couch in Echo Park, courtesy of a Craigslist ad that promised queer-friendly vibes. The host, a tattooed barista named Mia, sized him up over herbal tea. Texas exile? Classic. You'll fit right in, half the city's built on runaways. She hooked him up with temp gigs, dog walking in the hills, flyer stuffing for indie films, and late-night powwows where stories of rejection wove into tapestries of triumph. But it was Eli's arrival that ignited the real spark. 2 weeks in, as Alex balanced a latte tray at a Silver Lake cafe, hazel eyes locked on him from the patio. Told you I'd detour, Eli grinned. Cap askew, a disposable camera dangling from his neck. They fell into rhythm like old souls. Sunrise hikes in Griffith Park, where Eli's lens captured Alex's mid-laugh against the Hollywood sign. Sunset drives along the Pacific Coast Highway, windows down, Springsteen blasting as waves crashed like applause. Eli's touch was tentative at first, a hand on the small of Alex's back navigating crowds, fingers brushing over shared fries at In-N-Out. But in the quiet hours, Sprawled on threadbare blankets under star-pricked skies, confessions deepened. Eli admitted his own scars. A college boyfriend who'd ghosted after coming out went viral, leaving trust in tatters. "Betrayal's a bitch," he said, voice rough. "Makes you build walls higher than the Rockies." Alex, emboldened, shared the ache of his parents' silence. The way love had curdled into conditional. Their first kiss happened there, on a cliffside overlook. Salt air mingling with the taste of chapstick, soft, searching, a promise whispered against lips. Yet shadows loomed. Alex's phone, once a portal to escape, now buzzed with ultimatums. His mother, "Your father's had a heart scare. Come home, or don't bother." Guilt gnawed like acid. Was his freedom worth a man's collapse? Mia warned him, "Family's a drug. Toxic, but you crave the hit." Eli, sensing the fracture, pulled back just enough to sting. "You gotta choose, Alex. Can't straddle fault lines forever." The conflict simmered through stolen weekends. Eli's gigs taking him to San Francisco's fog-wrapped alleys. Alex tagging along. Their nights alive with rooftop poetry slams and dimly lit jazz clubs where hands intertwined under tables. Romance bloomed in the margins. Mixtapes curated for road trips, Polaroids pinned to fridge doors. The humanistic thread of two outcasts forging family from fragments. But betrayal struck like lightning on a clear day. In a cramped Oakland loft, after a gig where Eli's photos of queer protests hung like battle flags, Alex's phone lit up with a forwarded email. From Jake, his high school crush. "Saw your folks at church. They know you're in Cali with some guy. Careful, small world." Attached, screenshots of Alex's Instagram, geotagged posts with Eli's arm slung casual around his shoulders. Panic surged. His parents had hired a PI? No, worse. Jake's note ended. "Missed my chance back home. Don't screw this up." But the real knife twisted when Eli, scrolling idly, froze. "This Jake. He the one from debate?" Alex nodded, heat rising. Eli's laugh was bitter. "He outed me once. You know? Spread rumors to save his own skin. And now he's circling you." Jealousy flared, irrational and raw, cracking the trust they'd built. "You still talk to him?" Eli pressed, voice edged. Alex denied it, but the seed of doubt sprouted. Texts from Jake pleading just friends. Eli's silences growing arctic. The rift widened on a rain-lashed drive back to LA. Tires hydroplaning through sheets of Pacific storm. Eli's words cut deep. "I thought we were real, Alex. Not some rebound from Texas ghosts." Tears blurred the windshield. Alex pulled over, the ocean roaring accusation. "It's not that. You're my wildfire, Eli. But family. They're pulling strings I can't cut." In the downpour, they clung, kisses fierce with forgiveness, bodies pressed close but boundaries held, the romance a bomb against the storm. Yet the damage lingered, a undercurrent of fear. Could love survive the ghosts? Climax brewed in the heat of July, when Alex's past collided with his present like tectonic plates. A call from his sister, Lila, voice trembling over spotty connection, shattered the fragile peace. "Dad's okay, but they're coming for you. Mom's got a lawyer. Says you're unfit for inheritance unless you repent." The words landed like shrapnel. Inheritance be damned, but the subtext screamed erasure. Eli, mid-shoot in the desert outside Joshua Tree, dropped everything, racing back in a borrowed Jeep, dust devils swirling like omens. They holed up in a rundown cabin off Route 66, the kind with creaky floors and ghosts in the walls, plotting defense over lukewarm beer. "You're not going back," Eli said, pacing the porch as coyotes yipped in the distance. "Not to that cage." But Alex's resolve wavered. Visions of his father's ashen face in hospital photos haunted him. What if I talk to them? Show I'm still their son. Eli's hazel eyes darkened. And what about us? You think they'll bless this? The argument escalated, voices rising with the wind, accusations flying like tumbleweeds. You're scared too, Alex shot back. Hiding behind your camera, never committing, 'cause one ghost dumped you. Eli recoiled as if slapped. The betrayal raw. Alex, wielding Eli's pain like a weapon. Silence fell heavy, broken only by the cabin's groan. Dawn brought uneasy truce. They drove east, not to surrender, but confrontation, a neutral ground in Phoenix, where his parents waited in a sterile hotel conference room, faces carved from granite. The meeting was a minefield. His mother's tears engineered for effect. His father's Bible-thumping monologue on sickness and sin. We sent you away to heal, Dad growled. Not to wallow in Sodom. Alex's voice cracked but held. You sent me to disappear. But I'm here, Dad. Gay and whole. And loved. The word hung. A gauntlet thrown. Eli waited outside, chain-smoking, but when security loomed, hired muscle to escort Alex home. Eli burst in, camera flashing like gunfire. This is America, folks. Free press. Free love. Smile for the gram. Chaos erupted, shouts, shoving. His mother's wail as Eli's lens captured the unraveling. A family imploding under the weight of unspoken bigotry. Alex grabbed Eli's hand, bolting into the sweltering streets, hearts pounding in sync. They didn't stop until Sedona's red rocks loomed, a sanctuary of vortexes and whispered legends. Collapsing against ancient boulders, sobs racked Alex. Grief for the parents he'd lost, terror at the void. Eli held him through it. No words, just the steady rhythm of breath, the humanistic anchor of presence over perfection. We're the story now, Eli murmured. Not them, but the aftershocks rippled. Back in LA, the photos went viral, not for scandal, but solidarity. Queer forums lit up. Exile no more trending. Allies sharing tales of disownment turned defiance. Mia threw an impromptu rally in West Hollywood. Drag queens and activists toasting Alex's Phoenix Rise. Yet betrayal's echo lingered. Jake, exposed in the frenzy, confessed via voicemail. I tipped them off. Man. Jealousy. Sorry. The admission gutted Alex, high school innocence poisoned. Eli, overhearing, didn't rage. Instead, he framed a print of their cliffside kiss, hanging it above his makeshift darkroom. Ghosts fade when you expose the negative, fall deepen their bond. Seasons turning like pages in a well-worn novel. Eli landed a gallery show in San Francisco, intimate portraits of outcasts in light. With Alex as muse, his eyes fierce in black and white. They navigated the tender minefield of commitment. Shared lease in a sun-drenched bungalow near Venice Beach. Mornings tangled in sheets, chaste, but charged with promise. Evenings debating Kerouac over vegan tacos. Romance wove humanistic threads, volunteering at a youth center for LGBTQ+ runaways, where Alex mentored kids with tickets clutched like talismans, echoing his own flight. You're building what they tore down, Eli said one twilight, as they watched waves etch secrets in sand. Conflict simmered low, though Eli's wanderlust clashing with Alex's craving roots. A job offer pulled Eli east. National Geographic spread on Heartland queer resilience. 6 months. Tops, he promised, but doubt crept like fog. Alex, thriving in film production, scouting locations for indie shorts, felt the pull of permanence. Don't leave me chasing shadows, he whispered the night before Eli's departure, their goodbye a symphony of half-packed bags and heartfelt pleas. Eli's flight out of LAX mirrored Alex's aborted escape. Gates blurring, hearts fracturing. But this time, the ticket was round trip, stamped with trust. Months stretched like taffy. Letters, actual paper, scented with pine, bridged the miles. Eli's from Omaha diners, Alex's from Malibu sunsets. Video calls crackled with flirtation, deep dives into fears unspoken. Betrayal's scar faded, Jake's apology accepted, then archived. Lila, the bridge to family, smuggled updates. Mom softening over therapy, Dad's gruff, tell him we're praying. Properly this time. Humanistic flickers, forgiveness not forced, but earned in increments. Eli's return was winter solstice magic. Snow-dusted palms in an LA rarely white, a reunion at the airport where it began. No benches this time. Eli swept Alex into arms that smelled of road dust and resolve. Missed my light, he breathed, and they kissed under departure screens, unashamed. The gallery opening followed, sold-out crowd in a Mission District warehouse. Eli's work a testament. Alex's portrait central, titled Ticket to Stay. Toasts rang, to exiles, to love's quiet revolutions. Yet the arc bent toward reflection. Spring brought Lila's visit. Awkward family dinner in their bungalow. Vegan lasagna thawing frosts. Dad's absence loomed, but Mom's tentative hug cracked the ice. We were wrong. Scared. No full redemption. Just the humanistic grind, apologies imperfect. Bonds mending slow. Alex, stronger. Extended grace. I'm still your son. That's the hook. Summer circled back. A full year since the Gates abandonment. And with it, the story's quiet crescendo. Eli proposed a road trip, echoing their Greyhound genesis, retracing steps to Texas, not for conquest, but closure. Alex hesitated, ghosts whispering retreat, but Eli's hand in his steadied the wheel. They loaded the Jeep with coolers of craft IPAs and a playlist of indie folk anthems, heading east through baked earth and blooming yucca. This is us reclaiming the map, Eli said, as they crossed into Arizona, windows fogged with laughter. Detours wove whimsy. A detour to the Grand Canyon's rim at dusk, where Eli sketched Alex's silhouette against the chasm, charcoal strokes capturing vulnerability's edge. Nights in flagstone motels blurred into confessions. Eli admitting his fear of roots, Alex his dread of relapse. Romance deepened in these interstices. Stargazing in Big Bend, fingers tracing constellations like Braille promises. A two-step in a Marfa honky-tonk, bodies swaying to pedal steel, eyes locked in defiant joy. No grand gestures, just the humanistic poetry of presence. Love as verb, not noun. Texas welcomed them with humid embrace. Plano's manicured lawns a surreal homecoming. Alex's childhood house stood sentinel, mailbox stuffed with regrets. Lila met them at a neutral diner, neutral ground, formica tables scarred by greasy histories. They're ready, she said, eyes bright, or as ready as Harper's get. The reunion unfolded in the backyard swing set of Alex's youth, fireflies winking like hesitant allies. Mom arrived first, pie in hand, apple, his favorite voice quavering. We booked that ticket thinking we'd save you. Saved ourselves instead. I'm sorry, baby. Hugs followed, fierce and tear-streaked. The betrayal's wound cauterized not by words alone, but action. Her enrollment in PFLAG meetings, Dad's shadowed presence via letter. Proud. In my way. Come for Thanksgiving. Eli hung back, respectful shadow. But when Dad finally appeared, stooped, but eyes softer, he extended a hand. Took care of my boy, Dad grunted. Grip firm. That's something. No parade. No erasure of scars. But the humanistic pivot. families as flawed mosaics, pieced with patience. Over barbecue, smoke curling like incense, they shared fragments. Eli's Ohio winters, Alex's LA sunrises, the airport's cruel pivot. Laughter crept in, tentative, ceiling cracks. The trip's climax crested in Austin, city of live oaks and live wires. They caught a queer film fest at the Alamo Drafthouse docks on Stonewall Echoes, panels on rural coming-outs, Eli's camera clicking like a heartbeat. Backstage, Alex cornered him amid fairy lights and craft cocktails. "This, us. It's the plot twist I never saw." Eli's response was a ring, simple tungsten band glinting under stage glow. "Marry me? Not for show. For the long haul." Alex's yes dissolved into cheers from strangers turned family. The proposal a beacon amid the fest's electric hum. Fall returned them to California, wedded in a beachside ceremony. Barefoot on Zuma sands, waves chanting benediction. Mia officiated, voice booming over crashing surf. In a world of one-way tickets, you chose each other. Vows exchanged rings of memory. Alex's of the torn Heathrow stub, Eli's of a faded Polaroid. Guests sparse but soul deep. Lila beaming. Youth center kids scattering petals. Even mom via video. Tearful toast from Plano. No dad. But his card arrived. Blessings. Son. Humanistic closure. Not fairy tale, but earned ever after. Winter settled gentle. Their bungalow a nest of rituals. Eli's darkroom humming with new series. Hearts on the horizon. Alex editing shorts on queer road warriors. Conflicts arose. Domestic scale. Eli's deadlines clashing with Alex's shoots. Old insecurities flaring like embers. But they navigated with the grace of survivors. Therapy sessions laced with humor. Date nights reclaiming spontaneity. Betrayal's ghost, exorcised in forgiveness workshops. Jake's redemption arc a footnote friendship. Distant but detoxed. One crisp December eve. As they strolled Venice boardwalk, skateboarders whooping. Bonfires crackling. Alex paused at a payphone relic. Ticket stub replica in pocket. From airport exile to this, he marveled. Eli's arm warm around his waist. What now? Eli's grin was sunset gold. Now, we write the sequel. Together, they kissed slow, salt-kissed, the Pacific whispering approval. In America's vast tapestry, from Texas dust to Cali shores, their story threaded humanistic truth. Love not as cure, but compass. Coming out not end, but endless beginning. Epilogue whispers in spring's bloom. Lila's wedding invite. Dad's RSVP checked yes. Eli's exhibit tours Heartland. Alex tagging as co-curator. Youth center expands. Tickets now to futures, not flights. And in quiet moments, over coffee black as midnight, they recount the hook, the gate, the tear, the hand extended. Best plot twist ever, Alex says. Eli laughs. Hazel eyes eternal. Damn right. Fade to light. Years folded like well-loved letters. The story evolving beyond its inciting rip. By 25, Alex and Eli's bungalow had swelled to a fixer-upper in Silver Lake. Exposed beams groaning under shelves of photo folios and dog-eared scripts. Eli's work graced MoMA walls. A monograph titled Exile's Aperture chronicling queer odysseys from Appalachia to the Aleutians. Alex, now producer on a docuseries, Runaways Roadmaps, channeled his flight into narratives of resilience. Episodes streaming to teens clutching metaphorical tickets in Cleveland basements and Boise garages. Family mended mosaic style. Thanksgivings in Plano blended brisket with tofurkey. Dad's gruff anecdotes masking growth. Mom's PFLAG pin a badge of quiet revolution. Lila's kids, twin boys with Alex's blue eyes, called Eli Uncle Snap, clambering for camera rides. Betrayals? Ancient history. Jake, reformed activist in Dallas, guested on Alex's show. His mea culpa a catalyst for viewer letters flooding inboxes. Your story saved me from the gate. Romance matured. No less electric. Anniversaries marked by recreations. Greyhound picnics. Airport bar toasts sans whiskey burn. Intimacy deepened platonically profound. Shared silences editing reels. Hikes where hands swung free. The humanistic core unyielding. Conflicts. Fleeting. Eli's wanderlust tamed by co-adventures. Alex's root hunger sated in chosen kin. A scare once, Eli's diagnosis, minor but menacing, tested them, emerging tighter, vows renewed under hospital fluorescence. 30. The arc circled profound. A youth center gala, Alex keynoting to packed hall, Eli's lens immortalizing faces alight. That ticket, Alex said, holding aloft the mended stub. It led here not abroad, but home. Applause thundered, but Eli's whisper cut through. Our best shot yet. Fade out on them, arms linked, stepping into LA's neon narrative. Proof that in America's fractured heart, love scripts its own redemptive reel.